What's going on YouTube? It's fineokay, and today I'm bringing you guys the second episode in the series of In Review. Today we're going to be watching over a qualifier I had where I played Amaterasu against a lane bully, Bologna. Amaterasu is very comparable to Guardians in that her early game isn't that great. If you play it correctly, it can be decent, but it's not that great. But her mid game and late game is pretty damn good. So you kind of pick her for that reason. So yeah, like I said, it's just me a qualifier. We're going to go over the game, see what we did right, see what we did wrong, see what we did as a team well, and stuff like that. I'm going to be starting out with Warriors Blessing Tier 1 boots, and I talked about this in my build video, but since I have a lot of self-sustain, I just decided to go the 4 health pots, 2 multi-pots. I usually would go 3, but since I'm against Bologna, she can outpoke me pretty hard, so I decided to go for the full pots. And also I'm going TP so that I can rush my TP, or rush my boots rather, and then TP back in. That way I can keep up the pressure and, make sure I don't get behind at all against the lane bully. I think TP is really good, especially for that reason. And I think if I remember correctly, this game it actually pays off pretty well based on what happens, and I'll tell you, or we'll talk about that when the time comes. So this game, like I said, this was a qualifier. This was like my first week playing on the map and everything, so I was trying out start with Ama where I start my blue buff. Just, kind of testing it out because I'm going to get out cleared pretty hard anyway by Bologna. So I decided that I'm just going to try out my starting my blue. So we'll see how it goes. Something to keep in mind here is, of course, start with your 1. That way you can have the extra 15 power. That's going to, in total, do more damage than starting with your 2. And plus, I can switch to it right when I start tanking it. That way I'm healing. So, right, I switch, hit it 3 times so I get the passive, and now I'm hitting it with my power. And I get the heal from switching with my 1. So I'm going to end up taking a little bit of damage from it, but no big deal. So this took a while to do, even with Ama 1, just because I went Warriors Blessing. And it ended up not paying off because I only get 3 minions, so I don't hit 2. Whereas he's going to go hit 2 on his blue buff because he got the full wave. So this start was definitely not worth it. So because of that, just off of a simple thing like that, the rest of the laning phase is going to be a little bit rough. I'm going to have to lose a bit of gold to tower, tank minions, sit at my tower line and tank the minions and let him hit me. That way I can get some of the gold so that I don't get too far behind, so I can make sure I get my boots as soon as possible. This is what I'm doing right here. See, I'm trying to get this gold, making sure the next wave comes. There's still 3 minions left, so this next wave is going to be really stacked, and I'm going to have to play a little bit back and let some of the minions hit the tower. But that's just based off the start, based off the matchup, that kind of thing. So you just got to play it smart. And sometimes you just got to, take the loss and let the minions hit the tower and try and get the gold for the minions that you can. See, right there, I was avoiding hitting the big minion because I knew that it was tanking the tower, so I was trying to hit the small minions that I could get the gold from. So I'm getting some gold there too, so we're going to be a little bit behind in gold, but I have TP, like I said, and I'm just trying to rush my boots. I'm not going to outclear him here, so I'm just seeing how much damage I can do. Make sure you try and hit the wave and him if you can. But I didn't really do any damage to him, and that's because I didn't really take note of his build. His build is Warrior's Blessing Tier 1 Breastplate, so I do 0 damage to him. The minions do 0 damage to him, so I probably should have just gone on the wave there instead of him. But like I said, I'm just interrupting his budget, messing with him, trying to make sure I get that gold from the front minions before it hits tower, and successfully I did, so that's good. Trying to hit him as well, just so I can get my Warrior's Blessing stacked up. But yeah, that's kind of the situation. I'm kind of just taking a loss here and taking the poke. I'm getting low, but I'm never in a situation where I'll die, and I know that. That's why I'm taking the poke like that. And one side effect of the way I started and the way this laning phase is going because of that is that he's going to have pressure and maybe be able to invade my blue buff, and I know that. It's not the biggest deal. If Merc rotates over, if I can call for Merc rotation, then I might be okay. But yeah, that's kind of just me taking the entire loss from how I started, how the laning phase is going with the matchup and everything like that. If I started lane and maybe it started a little bit differently, I could have at least evened out or neutralized his pressure, and I could have defended my own blue. But since I really didn't get to do that, then this is kind of the situation that I'm in. One thing to keep in mind with Ama when you're clearing wave is to try and hit 1 minion 3 times, so it pushes the minion back and it gets the AoE passive that you have where you hit a minion 3 times or hit anything 3 times and you get the extra damage on it. So that's something you should keep in mind when you're trying to lane clear. So we decide we're going to defend our blue. Balloon uses her ult for it. She gets it before I even get there. So that's kind of rough. So I'm in a bad position now. She has a fully stacked Warrior's Blessing. She has a kill on me, and she's a lane bully. So, and she also has a level on me. So only thing we can do now is maybe we get a solo kill on her, and then we can get ourselves back in the game. So since I had TP her ult's down, that's what I'm looking for right now. She's playing really far up. This is really aggressive of her. I have my ult. Her ult's down. She still has her shell, and she's still pretty tanky, but I just got full boots, and that's why I like going TP, because I can TP back in with full boots, and this is the situations that you'll find yourself in where they don't have TP. They didn't back up because they want to keep, they can't get back to lane as soon as possible, so I end up just getting a solo kill on her because of that. So that's really big. That puts me back in the game, and as an Amaterasu, with any lead or any, say you get behind a little bit and then you neutralize it with a kill or anything like that, that's really big. And notice how I'm hitting the big minion 3 times and then pushing it back, and that way I can get the passive effect and all that. Just a little mechanical thing that can help you there. So yeah, we get the kill on, and that's super big. And of course I'm going to be rushing breastplate, so I'm going to go into breastplate there. I'm going to grab some wards because Kama has a lot of kill potential on me. So this is just one of those games which I think is perfect for in review, because we end up getting behind a little bit early, and my team overall is still pretty far behind, 1K, only 5 minutes in. But I can show you how maybe you can get back into the game, or what you can look for, and ways that you and your team can still team fight and stuff even from behind. So with that said, we defended, or we didn't defend, we got our first blue buff stolen, but we were able to get a kill in lane, so we should be able to get our next blue buff, and because of that I get my Warrior's Blessing fully stacked, which is super big. We're kind of sitting on the same build right now. So from this point on, I'm just going to be looking to clear the wave, not really go on her too much. If the situation, or if the opportunity arises, then yeah, I'll go on her. But most of the time, you just want to hit her and the wave, hit the enemy solo and the wave. Merc's gank's a little weird here, but we can maybe force the ult, so we do. That's a fine trade. Both of our ults are on the same cooldown, so Cam is still here. I really just want to go grab my blue. That's what I'm going to do. The only reason I went on below there is because Merc was calling for the gank, and that was fine. And I also said defend next blue, and I'm good, because like I said, if I can get that next blue buff, I should be good the rest of the game. He's pretty poked here, so that's the only reason I would decide to go on him. He dashes through the wave, so I can hit him and the wave, which is perfect for me. Like I said, you want to be trying to hit the wave and him. Looks like Sheikah dies in mid, and so does Bo. So yeah, we're behind this game. We're still about 1K, but I noticed that I can invade blue just because I poked out Bologna pretty hard. So that's really big for me. So the fact that I'm able to invade a blue against a Bologna, which is supposed to be the lane bully, is pretty big. So yeah, I got a decent spot in this lane now. So pretty much everything's down. I should just back for tier 2 breastplate here. It's a pretty big back. It gives you mana and mana sustain, which is pretty good on Ama. That way you can spam your 1 as much as possible and without having to worry about getting low on mana. I mean, one thing this season is you have your blue buff all the time, so it's not that big of a deal. But just that extra mana sustain will always be useful. Their Camazotz decides to rush Crusher, so he doesn't have movement speed yet, besides the speed buff. Interesting thing that I've seen some people do. But one thing on Ama is you get back to lane really fast because of your 1 movement speed. Oh, excuse me. So my blue buff's coming up soon. I'm just looking to push this wave and then go grab my blue. It gets to a point where with Ama where yeah, you can trade in lane, but it's more beneficial, I think, to just hyper farm. You just farm minions, go to something else with your movement speed because you get there super fast. Go to my blue buff after this, which is what I do. I think we're just messing with him because we have a full wave and we can silence his bludgeon, so it takes a while for him to clear it. I think it might have been better just to go to blue buff here instead of doing that, but we do get a little bit of poke on him, so maybe the next wave we can poke him out even more and maybe play off that opportunity. But like I said, usually you just want to start hyper farming with Ama, so that's what we're kind of trying to do here. One thing with this game is I'm using this skin because somebody popped a skin booster, and I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that you just can use whatever skin you want with skin boosters, as long as they're not limited or whatever. I have an entire wave, whereas his wave is cleared, so I can he can kind of just mess with me, and that's fine. That's just kind of this situations that happen when somebody was in lane and you weren't. If they clear the wave, then you have a full wave to clear, and they can kind of just hit you while you do that. It's nothing to do with like how the lane's going or anything like that. That was a little bad by me there. I should have got a fully charged mirror and I would have full cleared. But like I said, the poke isn't that big of a deal because you know you have your movement speed, you can get out, and also you have your 1 that you can spam. I like to max my 1 before I put a second point in my ult. I go for blue here just because it insta-dies with Ama. Like, you literally just insta-kill it, as you can see. Ganesh was there anyway, so it was free invade. But we also had the out-clear potential and all that. Yeah, so that's kind of just how we went for it. This should be a free kill here just because the Raijin's pretty out of position, and I'm just rotating over because, you know, we get the blue buff, and, you know, Bologna might be here, and yeah, she ends up being here. But I was just looking for the invade there just because we had the out clear potential, and Ganesh was in that side of the jungle anyway. This is probably bad now just because Ganesh is going to die, so we should get out. And I'm just trying to peel for my current here because, you know, I do a decent amount of damage, and I think he was pretty surprised by it. So it's just kind of like a normal team fight going on right now. I switched to my movement speed so we can get out. Still kind of playing up. I probably should have just backed up here, no big deal, because Kama still could come. And he definitely is going to come now because Kern's sitting here too when he's like 1 HP. This was weird because Kern got really behind this game and I think was kind of over-rotating. So yeah. The way this Bologna is playing is there's got to be somebody else here, right? I don't really remember what happens. Yeah, I'm not really sure. He is really low though, so like we do have the opportunity to maybe kill him. He gets out with 1 HP, that's too bad. And yeah, of course, Kama shows up. Yeah, I really don't know what Kern was doing there. I might be able to trade kills here. Bologna's really low, and Kama is really low. I forget what ends up happening. Let's see. So I'm just trying to go for the trade because I'm going to die anyway. And I almost kill him. He gets out with 1 HP. I probably could have gone for Bologna there, and it would have been a little bit better just because he was a guaranteed kill. He's 1 HP, ult down, everything. You know, I could have just walked up and ulted him instead. But I decided to go for the Kama there because I really thought I would get the kill. I think if I had been in my... let me actually go back. Where was it? I think if I had been in my power stance during that... Let me see. Can I go back? Okay, here. Okay, so I'm not in my power stance right now because I had to switch for the healing. So I would have died, so there was no real opportunity for me. I guess I could have switched there while he was stunned, and it might have killed. I was trying to stack up my... Yeah, I think if I switched there to my power stance, he would have died. I had to do it when he was stunned, though, because I had switched it right before so that I could get the healing so I wouldn't die. So yeah, that was the situation. If I just switched it right before he got out of the stun, he would have died. So that's a misplay by me. Something to note and review to try and always be in your power stance when you're going for a kill with your ult or your 2. Helps with the scaling, helps with the auto attack damage and stuff like that. I guess if I had switched, I wouldn't have been able to auto attack for like a half a second there. So maybe I lose some of the damage and therefore don't get him as low as I needed to actually kill him with my 2. But yeah. Just little micro things there. Another thing to note with Alma clearing the wave is if you dash through the wave, you full charge your mirror, so you just insta-clear it if you do that. But I TP in, his tower is really low, so he has to worry about the wave or the blue, so I can invade the blue because if he doesn't worry about the wave, then the tower's dead. And then I just get the blue for free. Movement speed with Alma 1 is pretty OP, so I just instantly get there. He goes breastplate, which is interesting. I don't really like going breastplate on Bologna. I don't think you need to, or I don't even think you should. And I noticed that, the tower's super low, so I might as well switch to my power stance and just go ahead and one-shot it. I thought it was dead there for like 2 autos. That's just because the second hit in Alma's hit chain, it hits for pretty much nothing. So that was the reason for that. And again, just autoing the big minion 3 times so I can get that Alma passive. Notice how the minions are doing 0 damage to me. I'm immune to them. That's because of my Warrior's Blessing and having breastplate. I just have so much physical defense and so much mitigation right now. I proxy the next wave because Bologna can't really come contest. If they gank me, I can kind of just ult out, movement speed out, no big deal. And I go for their back camps because I have so much pressure in my lane. I'm going for another proxied wave because Bologna's not here. The only way they could possibly kill me is if Raijin comes as well, along with Camazotz, and then Bologna's there as well. So there's never really a real situation where they could actually kill me. So yeah. Just looking for their speed buff, seeing if there's anybody in left jungle. Turns out Camazot's there. I was also maybe looking for the Phoenix proxy just because Bologna's all the way up there. Like I said before, no real way they can kill me. But since she's all the way up there and Camazot's was in left jungle, they could be rotating, and it turns out they were. And I think my Ganesh just kind of just kills himself here. I probably could have ulted for him, but I didn't feel like wasting my ult on that. I'm pretty sure he was dead either way. So yeah, that was kind of weird. And I was a little frustrated this game just because we were behind, and I was just like asking him or spamming question marks, kind of being a douche, but just like I really don't know why he was there. Use my ult in mid just to see if we can do anything. I think we end up getting a kill here. Yeah, nice. So we end up getting a kill off that, which is really big. There's 4 here, and we end up trading a kill. Rick's probably dead, but oh, he actually gets out somehow. I could have peeled for him here a little bit better too. I did tell him to follow me, so he ends up getting out, which is really good. I don't think he should have gotten out. I think they must have missed abilities or something. I guess he has speed buff and he's merc, so he gets out pretty fast. He's pretty quick around the map. So yeah, I'm just going to do blue here. I'm going to be rushing Pestilence just because they have Camazot's heals. They have Artemis lifesteal. I thought I would one-shot that minion right there with my dash, but apparently not. So basically I'm just farming up to Pestilence. I already have it now. We'll see where we're going next. It is an Artemis who's going to be going crit, so the faster I get Nemean, the better. And we are behind, so going Urchin is a little bit awkward here because, you know, they have an Artemis who's ahead. The quicker I get Nemean and Thorns, the quicker we have a win condition, in my opinion. So I'm pretty sure I go Nemean next. I'm not quite sure. Looking to rotate mid here just because I'm going to out-rotate Bologna with just my movement speed. And also the wave's cleared, and, you know, there's nothing for me to really worry about here. This is decent. The only problem is my team can't really follow up. I'm just looking to see if I can get their actives here or anything. I end up hitting both of them, but Artemis returns some of the poke pretty fast there. So basically I was just looking for actives there because my ult's on a 50-second cooldown, so no big deal. Bologna rotates too. That's one thing you'll find with a lot of solo laners is if you rotate, they'll just follow you because they don't really know what they're doing or think that they need to be there. If I were that Bologna, I probably would have stayed and pushed that wave because I would have pressure on that tier 1 tower, maybe even cleared it. And, you know, he could have just told his team to back up and it would have been a lot better for them. That's just one way you have to play the map. And that's something you can learn. I can learn too is like I probably shouldn't rotate over if my wave isn't pushed enough to the fact where they couldn't get like pressure on my tier 1. They stopped my back there because it's annoying. So yeah, the later this goes, the better in my opinion, just because they have like a Kuzumbo. We have Amma, Merc, Cern, Giannis. Like those are all good late game gods, maybe besides Giannis, but Amma, Cern, Yerk, Amma, Cern, Merc is all pretty good late game. So I think the better, or the later this goes, the better. And especially Amma into like Artemis. Like, you know, that's obviously a really good matchup because I just ult her and she either has to ult or has to use beats. And a lot of Artemises like to go Blink, and I'm pretty sure this Artemis goes Blink this game, which is pretty bad. If you go Blink beads against an Amma, the Amma will just literally ult you and you'll just die. You won't have an Aegis or anything for it. And of course, like I said, I'm going to be going Thorns because I need to against an Artemis with full crit. That way she can't like turn on me ever when I go on her. So yeah, I'm going Nemean next time, like I said. Notice that I'm just using my TP is still up, but I'm using my TP kind of you know, liberally just because I want to keep that farm up, make sure I'm out farming. I decided to chase the Kama here. Not really sure quite where he goes, just because I have the movement speed for it. The fight's going well either way because Kama's 1 HP and he had the ult out, so I'm kind of just looking for him and trying to zone out maybe Raijin here and getting some ways. Turns out Artemis was pushing that entire time, and I could have TP'd to that, and I probably should have TP'd to that. Not paying attention too much, so that was kind of bad. I'm just taking this because my team's here. We're looking for the dive. I go on Raijin because I know that Kama's a free kill. He's 1 HP. His ult's down, so I decided to go on Kama, or Raijin that is. We get the kill on Raijin, but we're both pretty low. I have my movement speed. I tell my team to movement speed out. Giannis is going to be good either way just because he can portal out, and Artemis is chasing us, so yeah, that's kind of the situation. Artemis could go fire here. I'm not really sure. I don't remember what ends up happening, but we need to make sure that they don't do fire. So I'm pretty sure that's what I do to make. Yeah, I check. Turns out they were on it. Yeah, they were on it, but they got off it because they noticed that I was there. So that's just something you have to check after everybody dies. After a bunch of stuff happens, you kind of just gotta make sure that they're not just randomly doing an objective. Not really random, but you know, sneaking it rather. What I would say. So kind of make sure you're checking that. And usually the solo laner, that's the solo laner's job to make sure, you know, to stick around and make sure, because you're going to be the one who's full health most of the time, even after a fight, just because you're sustaining your tankiness. So it's usually going to be your job to make sure that they're not randomly or not randomly, like I said, but secretly pulling an objective after a fight or after anything happens. So that's what I do. Now we have a really big power spike. We have our Thorns. We have 2 physical defense items with Nemean being one of them, which is pretty important. And then we have our anti-heal, so if Artemis has lifesteal, she's not going to be lifestealing too much off me. This was pretty bad. We knew they were on gold forever. My team kind of took forever to react. We could have Giannis ulted it. We could have all run over there. And I ended up talking to Shake after this game, and he said he just wasn't paying attention, and it was his bad because he could have easily defended. So I decided to go on Artemis super hard here. We ended up getting the kill from it, which is really good. That's fine with me. The 1v1 trade is perfectly fine there. They end up getting gold, but the good thing is they can't do fire even after killing a few of us. And I was just typing my team because I was really confused why we just didn't contest that, because we knew they were on it forever. All of our ults were up. We could have easily gotten there and defended it. So, yeah, that was the situation. So this is another situation where my ADC is behind and their ADC is a bit ahead. So, I mean, my current has been probably like 3 or 4 levels down this entire game. They're getting a tier 2 in mid right now. They just got Gold Fury. You know, they're up 7k. This is a really good spot for them to win the game, right? And I honestly think they should win the game from this point, even though we have a good late game comp, unless they make a horrible mistake or we make a horrible, not a horrible, but a really good play or something, then there's no real way for us to win this game. My Ganesh is 0 and 9, and then my current 0 and 7, so combined they're 0 and 16. Not really what you want to see. I decided to grab speed buff so I can get to the team fight faster, and just because, you know, Mark's not going to grab it. But they're winning a fight just because they stayed way too long. The enemy team stayed way too long. If they had reset, they would have easily won this game, I think. If they reset and then come back to fire, they would have been fine. I'm going on Artemis here because that's my job. Looking to get a pick on her. Okay, so that's it. She went Aegis and Blink instead of beads. So she doesn't have beads. All she has to do to immune my ult, or all she has to immune my ult, is her ult, which is pretty bad. If she's having to use her ult every time I use my ult, when my ult's on a 50-second cooldown, and I'm going to be going on her pretty much every 50 seconds because that's my job, then it's going to be really rough for her. So Cam is still up here. I'm getting my extra damage on fire. I probably should have looked to zone here, but I'm not. Maybe Cam had just spawned or something, and I just didn't realize. But zoning Camo probably would have been the play. See, he just got here. Maybe we saw him on a ward, or we realized that he just spawned, so he wouldn't get here in time. I think that's what the situation was. But like I said, this team threw pretty hard there. We should probably just back up. We need to reset. No big deal in trying to kill this guy here, even if we get the kill. So CERN should just back up. But anyway, like I was talking about, the fact that they stayed for that entire thing, they did gold, they fought after it, they went to tier 2, and then they tried to go to Pyro. That was all really bad. They should have just gotten that tier 2 and then reset. And because they didn't, they were super low, and we were able to fight them at fire. And I wasn't even there yet. We were winning the fight before I even got there, so when I got there, it was even worse. I just ulted the Artemis, and it was a free kill. So we end up winning the fight, and we get fire off that. So now we're still behind 3k, but this is much more manageable, especially with our late game comp. And then, of course, Artemis ult is down, so I'm going to go on her here every time. I have Giannis ult up, I have Merc ult, so if I need to follow up, I'll be there. And, you know, Giannis ult ends up hitting, so that's really big. So we just get a pick. We just got a free pick because Artemis was pushed up because she doesn't have beads and she doesn't have her ult, so it's a free kill right before we push with fire. So right after that, we're going to get every tier 2 in the game. And if we get another pick, which I think happens here maybe, if we get another pick, then we're going to be able to push Phoenixes, and that's just what happened. They end up just trickling in and dying, and that's just kind of like a, I don't know if it was because they thought that they were in such a lead that they didn't have to worry about it, or just because they were making honest mistakes. Either way, we have 3 down. Their 2 tanks are the ones defending, and I'm pretty tanky, so I can tank this Titan up, and especially if I pop my Thorns and reflect that damage, that's a lot of damage reflect to the Titan, and of course Merc damage on it, and my extra damage with my passive current. Like, we're just going to own this Titan, so we decided to do it. So that's how quickly a game can turn if you make mistakes. Keep in mind, 3 minutes or 4 minutes ago, they were ahead 7k, right? Then we win a fight at fire. We get the Fire Giant, we get a couple picks before our push, and we end up ending with 3 down because we were able to snowball that push. But yeah, they were in the lead the entire game. I'm pretty sure they were even in the lead at the end of that right there. Pretty sure they still had the gold lead. But that just kind of shows you how you can stick with the game, make sure that you're playing smart. making sure you take advantage of the enemy's mistakes, because there were some obvious mistakes that we could have taken advantage of there, whether it be builds, actives, or just positioning and what they're in decision making. Like I said, that elongated like push of going to tier 2 then back to pyro after getting gold and fighting was just really bad. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the second episode of In Review. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Let me know if you learned anything, any questions, anything like that. If I explained everything well enough, I would really appreciate it. That's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys later. Have a nice day.